Honestly, I don't even know where to start. The last few weeks have turned into a full-on nightmare, and I really need advice on what to do next. It all started about a month ago. My parents somehow found out I'm on antidepressants. I'm not even sure how. Maybe my son mentioned it, maybe they saw the pills in my bag. For them, it was like the end of the world. My mom started calling every day. Have you lost your mind? What will people think? Those pills will make you an addict. My dad was quieter, but I could hear him breathing heavily on the other end of the line, very clearly on her side. The climax was last Tuesday. My husband left early for work, and I stayed home with the kids. Ethan, 8, and little Emma, almost 2. Around 10 in the morning, someone started pounding on the door. I opened it, thinking it was a delivery. I was wrong. My parents literally barged in. My dad shoved me aside. My mom was yelling something about me being sick and dangerous to the kids. Emma started screaming from fear. They grabbed Ethan by the arm. He didn't even have time to get dressed properly. He was still in pajama pants and a t-shirt. I tried to stop them, but my dad just blocked my way with his body while my mom was already dragging my son toward the door. "You're a psycho," my mom shouted as they left. "You can't be trusted with even one child. We'll take both of them as soon as we're back." The door slammed. I just stood there with a sobbing Emma in my arms, not understanding what had just happened. The first thing I did was call my husband. He rushed back home immediately. The second was calling the police. 2 officers showed up, a woman and a man, both middle-aged. They listened, took my statement. The female officer asked, "Is there any particular reason they reacted like this specifically to antidepressants?" And that's when I realized I'd have to tell them. For the first time in 22 years, when I was 6, my older brother started, it's hard to even find the words now, abuse. It went on until I was almost 8. My parents never noticed anything. He was always the good boy, and I was the storyteller who makes things up. I buried it as deep as I could, but about a year and a half ago I started having panic attacks. My therapist prescribed antidepressants, and they actually helped. The officers looked at each other. "You understand that crimes like this don't have a statute of limitations?" The man said quietly, "We're required to pass this on." The next few days were just a blur. Interviews at the sex crimes unit. The detective, a woman in her 50s with very tired eyes, wrote down every word. I told them everything, every detail I'd been trying to forget for 2 decades. My parents brought Ethan back that same evening. The police made it very clear that otherwise it would be considered kidnapping, but they didn't back off. First came the calls, my mom sobbing into the phone. "Withdraw your statement. You're destroying the family. How can you lie like that about your own brother?" My dad just repeated, "Come to your senses before it's too late." Once they were told that I can't take back my statement even if I want to, that it's in the hands of the state now, they changed tactics. They started working on Ethan. They'd take him out just for a walk, buy him anything he wanted, promise him the world. At Grandma and Grandpa's, you can do whatever you want, eat as much candy as you like. You don't have to go to school if you don't feel like it. Of course, an 8-year-old fell for that. A week ago, something unthinkable happened. After hearing enough of their promises, Ethan himself called 911 and said that his mom was bad and he was scared. The police and Child Protective Services showed up. They went through our lives with a fine tooth comb. Our apartment is a clean, well-kept 3-bedroom. The fridge is full, all the bills are paid, no debts, the kids are healthy, and Ethan's teachers say he's doing well at school. But now we're on their radar. A social worker comes once a week. They're threatening to flag us as a problem family, even though our only problem is my parents. Oh, and I forgot to mention my brother. He's 35, born in 1990, and still lives with my parents. He hasn't worked anywhere for about 10 years, sits in the basement playing video games, trying to stream, but he has 0 viewers and obviously 0 income. My parents support and protect him like he's still 15. Yesterday, my husband found out something interesting. Turns out my mom has been baking cakes to order from home for about 15 years now. It looks like a pretty successful business judging by her client base on social media, but she's never registered it, never paid taxes, doesn't have any licenses to prepare food. So now I'm sitting here thinking, they keep coming up with new ways to wreck our lives. They sick social services on us, manipulate my son, call in the middle of the night with threats. On top of that, investigators are already interviewing every family member because of my case. Part of me says, they're still your parents, just wait it out. The other part, the one that remembers a 6-year-old girl nobody believed and says something very different. I could report my mom's illegal business to the tax authorities and the health department. That could mean serious fines, maybe even criminal charges for tax evasion. Plus, she's preparing food without a license. That's another violation, but I don't know if that would mean I'm sinking to their level. On the other hand, they are actively trying to take my children away from me right now. Isn't that a reason to use every legal way I have to protect myself? My husband says, "Do whatever you think is right, I'll back you up." But the decision is still on me. What would you do in my place? Should I report them? Or does that make me just like them? Or should I just wait for the investigation into my brother to finish and hope they finally leave us alone? Next story. I met this girl on a dating app about 3 months ago. We texted for a week, then met up at a coffee shop downtown. The conversation flowed easily, we laughed, turned out we had a lot in common with music and TV shows. Second date was at a bar, third one, I took her out to dinner. We kissed at the end of the night. Basically, everything was going by the book. The next few weeks flew by in a blur. We were seeing each other constantly, texting every day, started staying over at each other's places. I genuinely started thinking this could be something serious. She told me she'd recently gotten out of a long relationship. The guy turned out to be an asshole and it ended badly, but she didn't go into details. I didn't push. I'd just gotten out of something myself, so I get that people need time. Then I started noticing changes. At first, I thought she'd just put on a little weight. We both love food. We're always ordering pizza or hitting up burger joints. But her stomach was growing in a weird way. I'm not an idiot, but at first I didn't want to believe the obvious. She also started turning down drinks when we hung out with my friends, saying she wasn't feeling well or that she was on medication. A week ago we were at my place and I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I asked her straight up, "Listen, are you pregnant?" She went pale at first, then started saying no, that I was imagining things, that she just gained weight. I pressed. Eventually she broke down crying and admitted it. The whole story came out. Turns out she got pregnant by that ex who moved to another state and blocked her everywhere when he found out. This happened literally a couple weeks before we matched. She said she was scared to tell me because she really liked me from the first date and didn't want to ruin things. She thought if she told me right away, I'd disappear. And then as time went on, it got harder and harder to come clean. She was crying, saying she'd understand if I walked away now, that she was an idiot and ruined everything. Honestly, I was in shock. Not because she was pregnant, but because she'd hidden it for 2 months. We'd already been talking about the future, about moving in together in 6 months, making plans for summer, and the whole time she was keeping quiet about the fact that in a few months, she'd have another man's baby. I left that night, told her I needed time to think. She texted apologies, asked to meet and talk, but I said I needed space. I told my 2 best friends. They both said the same thing. Run. Run while you still can. You've been with her 3 months. This isn't your problem. You don't owe her anything. You'll find someone else. My brother says the same. Even my mom, when I hinted at the situation without going into details, said that at my age I shouldn't take on that kind of responsibility for someone else's kid. But here's the problem. I can't get her out of my head. I miss her. I miss our conversations, the way she laughs at my stupid jokes, mornings when she makes coffee in my kitchen. 3 days ago we met up. She explained everything calmly, no hysterics, said she doesn't expect anything from me, that she understands if I leave, but that her feelings are real and she wants to try to make things right, that she's willing to give me time and space. And I started thinking, the baby's coming in 4 months. If I stay, this is forever. This isn't just dating a girl with a kid. This is being part of this life from day one. I'll be the guy who brings him home from the hospital, who gets up in the middle of the night, changes diapers, goes to parent-teacher conferences. Logic says, this is insane. I'm 28, I just started making good money, I wanted to travel, live for myself, and now suddenly, it's an instant family with someone else's kid and a whole mess of baggage. Everyone around me is saying I'd be making a mistake, but when I imagine her completely out of my life, I feel sick. I think about her constantly, and I picture this baby, and for some reason I don't feel disgust or fear. Instead, I'm having thoughts that maybe this is a sign, that maybe I'm ready. I'm completely stuck. On one hand, she lied to me for 2 months. How can I trust her going forward? On the other hand, she lied out of fear of losing me, which, while wrong, is understandable. I genuinely don't know what to do. The clock's ticking, her belly's growing, and I need to make a decision or let this go before we both get in even deeper. Next story. I've been living in a different city for 4 years now. Moved here after college for work. I rent a 1-bedroom, small, but it's mine. I pay for it myself, got used to independence and having my own space. My parents and younger brother stayed back in our hometown 3 hours away. Last fall, my brother calls me. He's 20, just finished a 2-year coding boot camp. Says he wants to move to my city. There are more opportunities here, more tech companies, there's nothing back home. Asked if he could crash with me temporarily, a month tops, just until he finds a job and rents a room. What was I supposed to say? He's my little brother. We've always been close. Growing up, we shared a room, watched anime together until 3 a.m., hid from our parents' fights. I said, okay, come on over. He showed up mid-September with one backpack and a laptop. First week was fine. He was sending out resumes, went to a couple interviews he found online. I was happy to help him get on his feet. Cooked dinners, we'd chat in the evenings, laughed like old times. Honestly, I even liked having someone home. Coming back after work to an empty apartment gets old. Then the excuses started. They said they'd call me back from the interview, waiting to hear. That position got filled. They want 3 years experience. What am I supposed to do with a boot camp certificate? 1 month passed, then 2. He was still sitting at home, glued to his laptop, gaming or watching streams. I started asking about progress with the job hunt. He'd show me screenshots of sent resumes, complain that nobody responds or that the market's flooded with juniors. I found him a couple options myself. First one, bartending at a bar near the house. A friend who manages there was looking for people. He agreed, went for 2 days, then said it wasn't his thing, and he was tired of being on his feet. Second one, food delivery driver, flexible hours. He could do it while looking for something in his field. Worked 3 days and quit, said the pay was shit and the app kept glitching. It's February now, almost 5 months he's been living with me. I pay rent alone, $700 a month plus utilities. I buy groceries too, mostly. Parents send him $150 every 2 weeks for food. He goes to the store, stocks up, and we eat together. That's his entire financial contribution. On the plus side, he cooks. Really good cooking, learned from our mom. I come home from work and dinner's already made. He cleans, does dishes, vacuums. The apartment's always spotless. And we have fun together. We watch shows, talk about memes, play console games on weekends. It's like a piece of home, and I really miss that kind of connection. That's where the positives end. There are more negatives. He doesn't leave the apartment all day. Literally, can go a whole week without stepping outside. I try to get him to at least go for walks. He says, yeah, I'll go tomorrow, and keeps sitting at the computer. When I ask about work, he gets irritated, says he's trying, that it's not that simple, that I don't understand how hard it is being a junior with no experience. Our parents call him constantly. Dad yells through the phone that he's embarrassing the family. Mom cries and begs him to get a job somewhere, anywhere. They tell him to come home if he can't find work here. He's always gloomy after those calls, shuts down, but nothing changes. Keeps sitting there. I'm burning out. Financially, it's hard carrying him for this long. I was saving for a car. Now I have to pull from those savings for daily expenses. Emotionally, I'm tired of being his sister, his mom, and his motivational speaker all at once. I love him, he's my little brother, and I feel bad for him. I understand he's got some depression or burnout going on, that it's genuinely hard for him, but I can't be his life raft forever. Last week I tried to have a serious talk, said 5 months is a long time, that it's hard on me financially, that we need to figure something out. He nodded, agreed, said he gets it, and that this week he'll definitely get moving. A week's gone by, nothing changed. Sits at the computer, watches YouTube, plays games, doesn't even send out resumes anymore. I can't kick him out, he has nobody here but me. The only option is going back to our parents, and there he'll be stuck in a small town with no prospects, and our parents will nag him even worse. I feel bad for him to the point of tears, but this can't continue. I don't want to fight with him. Don't want to be the mean sister who's constantly nagging and pressuring. We've been a team our whole lives, supported each other, but I feel myself getting angry, and it's destroying our relationship. Yesterday he was gaming again until 2 a.m. I could hear through the wall, then slept until noon. I left for work angry, didn't even say goodbye. I'm stuck. How do I motivate him in a kind way? How do I help him get unstuck without turning into his enemy? Has anyone been in a similar situation? I genuinely don't know what to do. Time's passing, money's draining, patience is running out, and he's still just sitting there with nothing changing. Last story. I dated a girl for almost 2 years, lived together the last 8 months, split a 2-bedroom apartment. The relationship was pretty rough toward the end, constant fights over stupid stuff, but we hung in there. We both thought we could fix things. A year and a half ago, when everything was still good, I was walking home from work late one evening, passed by the parking lot near our building and heard meowing. I look over. Under a car sits this tiny orange kitten, shaking all over, skinny as a skeleton. It was early November, cold, drizzling rain. I couldn't just walk past. Picked him up, stuffed him under my jacket, and took him home. Got home, showed my girlfriend. Her immediate reaction, "No, we can't keep a cat. I might be allergic. Who's gonna clean up after it? Who's gonna pay for the vet?" I said, "Let's at least let him stay the night. We'll take him to a shelter in the morning." She reluctantly agreed. The kitten was maybe 2-3 months old tops. We gave him a bath, fed him. He fell asleep on the couch, curled up in a ball. Next morning, my girlfriend woke up and the kitten was sleeping on her chest, purring. She petted him, smiled. I rarely saw her like that. She goes, "Okay, maybe we'll keep him for a week until we find him a home." I was thrilled. We named him Archie. I wanted to call him Ginger, but she insisted on a real name. That week turned into months. We took him to the vet, got him vaccinated, neutered. I bought him toys, a scratching post, a cat bed. I'd come home from work. Archie would greet me at the door, rub against my legs. At night, he slept at my feet. My girlfriend interacted with him, but mostly from a distance. Fed him sometimes, petted him if he came to her, but he was definitely my cat. 6 months ago, we started fighting more often. It became clear it wasn't working out. In December, she said she wanted to break up. I agreed, tired of the drama. Started figuring out who's moving out. She found the apartment, but I paid half. In the end, I moved out. My parents live in the same city. I could crash with them temporarily, and that's when hell started. I'm packing my stuff, naturally taking Archie with me. She suddenly goes, "The cat stays with me." I'm in shock. "What? This is my cat. I found him. I pay for him. You didn't even want him." She says, "We live together. He's our cat. You're moving out, so the cat stays." I tried to argue, but she threw such a fit, crying, screaming, saying I was taking away the last thing she had, which is complete bullshit. Threatened to call the cops if I took the cat. I was so stunned by everything happening, so exhausted from fighting, that I just gave in. Thought, okay, let him stay with her for a couple weeks, she'll calm down and we'll work it out like adults. Took my stuff, left for my parents without Archie. Worst decision of my life. First month I texted her, asked how the cat was doing, if I could visit him. She'd answer briefly, either that everything's fine or that she's busy. Wouldn't agree to meet. I offered to take him to my place. She said he's used to the apartment and she likes having him around. I was pissed but couldn't do anything. Technically there were no papers for the cat. They microchipped him under her name, because I was at work that day and she took him to the clinic. 2 months ago, early January, her friend messaged me, said my ex gave the cat away, just up and gave him away to some people through an ad. I immediately call her. She picks up like nothing happened. I ask, "Where's Archie?" She goes, "Oh, I gave him away. He started peeing in corners, sprayed the couch. I got tired of cleaning up. Found people online, they picked him up." I just went numb. Archie never did that. He was perfectly litter trained from month 1. I ask, "Why didn't you give him to me?" "You know I wanted to take him," she says with such venom. "Out of spite, I didn't give him to you. You moved out, abandoned us, so deal with it." I started screaming into the phone, demanded the contact info for these people, and address anything. She said she doesn't remember, that it was through some social media group that she deleted the conversation. I don't believe a single word. I'm almost certain she just dumped him on the street and is now lying so she doesn't look like a complete asshole. Or took him to a shelter where someone could have picked him up and taken him anywhere. I drove around to shelters in the city, showed his photo, asked if anyone brought in a cat like that. Nothing. Posted in lost pet groups, monitored ads about people giving away cats, hoping I'd find one that looked similar. No luck. Archie vanished into thin air. It's been almost 2 months now. I still can't sleep right. I imagine him out there somewhere alone, maybe freezing on the street, or in a bad home, or dead. It's the worst nightmare. I saved him from the streets once, and now because of my stupidity, and because of that vindictive bitch's revenge, he's back there. I've never wanted to hit someone so badly in my life. I'm not a violent person, but when she said out of spite, I almost drove to her place. My friend stopped me, said it's not worth it, that it'll only make things worse, that I could get in legal trouble. But I can't let this go. I still check ads every day. post in lost pet groups every week. There's almost no hope, but I can't just forget about him. He was my cat. I saved him, he loved me, and I failed him in the worst way possible. Should have fought for him to the end instead of giving up. If anyone's reading this and thinking about breaking up with someone when you have pets, fight for them. Don't make my mistake. Don't give in just to avoid fighting, because people can be so vindictive and cruel that they'll use defenseless animals as tools for revenge. And that's the most disgusting thing anyone can do. Alright, that's it for today's episode of Reddit-inspired confessions. These stories were heavy, and if you made it through all of them, thanks for sticking around. Drop a comment with your thoughts on any of these. I want to know if you agreed with my takes, or if you think I'm completely off. Hit that like button if you want more confessions like this, and subscribe for a new episode. See you by the campfire next time.